See what happens. Sensation Station Network.
Good morning and welcome to the Live Exchange. I am Dr. Pamela, and we're where we exchange compelling dialogue around love, politics, and intellect every Thursday from 11 to 1. I'm Dr. Pamela, and today we are talking about what it really means to be a strong Black woman. Today's show is called Redefining Strong, Dissecting the Strong Black Woman Phenomenon. As a woman who has had to fight for most of my adult life, fight against single mom stereotypes, fight to get my education, fight to raise my son, fight through an unfulfilling marriage, fight to rebuild my life, fight for my career, fight against racism, sexism, ageism, and fight to maintain my respect as a professional woman, I get it. When we have to do it alone, we grow a thick skin, a skin that we need in order to survive, a skin that keeps us sane when the world is hell-bent on telling us that we're not pretty, we're too smart, we're too strong, we're not worthy of respect, a skin that allows us to be resourceful enough to put food on the table when there's no money, make miracles happen in the workplace when no one else could accomplish, juggle motherhood with career, with school, with the side hustle we're building at the same time, and in some cases, keep the men in our lives satisfied and empowered. Can we do it all? Should we do it all is really the question. The reality is that many of us are doing it all, and while we are experts at not letting them see us sweat, putting on that public smile and keeping it moving, many of us are dying inside, dying to love, dying to feel connected, dying for peace of mind, dying for respect. The strong Black woman is beautiful and powerful indeed, but are we doing ourselves a disservice by serving everyone but ourselves? I would argue a resounding yes. Today, we have two amazing guests who are here to share some insight on this strong Black woman phenomenon from their perspectives. So we have psychologist and doctoral candidate Jillian Whatley, an entrepreneur, inventor, and owner of the oh Lord, you're going to have to say it for me. Say it. The Carthaginian Consulting Company, Tony Stark. We are in for some really deep stuff today. I hope you're ready. And as always, we've got some trending topics to discuss. We're going to look at, the nation is talking about sexual assault now all of a sudden, huh? Now there's a phenomenon. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to look at some research, my weekly balance challenge. We've got a lot to cover today, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Deliberate dumbing down.
Dumb down society.
Deliberate dumbing down of America.
Dumb down public. Why would they do this?
Sensation Station Network. Radio, not dumb down.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way? I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He'd guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
This is what legends are made of. This is what legends are made of.
As long as I see that fire in your eyes, I know we still good.
I do it off of that love.
We built this family, and this family's strong.
Empire on Fox.
Uncle Dan?
Mom? Dad?
If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them.
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside. Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over. As your neighbor, I'll feel safer.
As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
We'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Y'all need anything else?
Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and today we are talking about that strong black woman phenomenon. I think this is going to be a great topic because, like I said, we have two guests here, and they both have some really great perspective on this topic, and so get ready for some great dialogue. Ask questions, chime in. We definitely want you to engage. If you want to call, I know a lot of you are watching from your phones or listening from your phones, but if you want to pull away from your phone for a second and give us a call, you can reach us at 678-613-5857. So a few years ago, I wrote a post to my blog, Lessons. My blog is called Lessons from a Hopeful Romantic about the strong black woman phenomenon. Now, I didn't actually call it that, but I definitely described this phenomenon of a strong black woman. It was called Hustle, Then Flow. And the whole idea is, get your hustle on, but there's times where you just need to just flow and let go and just and trust. I get that sometimes as black women, we have to hustle and grind. We have to do what we have to do to make things happen. And, we're not all single moms. We're not all struggling financially. We're not all educated at the same level, and so many of us, some of us have stopped at high school, others stopped at the doctoral level, but many of us are hustling because we just have to. We're a double minority. We have what's called intersectionality, and we'll talk about what that is. But we live in a society that discredits us, disregards us, resents us in many ways, and so many of us were born fighting an uphill battle. But the greatest consequence of that battle is that we don't know when to turn it off all the time. And so here's a quote from that blog post. It says, I can't control everything. And recently I've come to realize that I don't want to control everything. Controlling everything takes an obsessive, emphasis on the word obsessive, amount of time and energy that I would much prefer spending on activities that I enjoy, like going to the movies, writing books, and falling in love. And I know a lot of people were like, well, duh, I'd like to do that too. Wouldn't that be nice? So we're going to look a little bit about how to do that. But I would love to introduce my guests first. So here to my left is Mr. Carman Bailey. Welcome. And we have Jillian Whatley. Go ahead.
Hi, how are you?
Great. So if you each wouldn't mind just giving a little bit of a snapshot of who you are and what you do.
Well, as she said, I'm Carman Bailey. I run the name of my company is Carthaginian Consulting Company. It's an environmental health and safety consulting firm. We also do some research and development. Right now we're in the process of bringing some innovative technology to the construction area or the construction field. I used to work for a large major general contracting company in the field of construction. Kind of got sick of the corporate plantation, and so what you guys are saying, I know a piece of it. But since I'm a man, it's also another component that, is stacked on top of you guys. Because I know I went and got every single certification. I have a degree. I've been doing this forever, and I still would get kind of questioned and marginalized sometimes. And I'm like, this is not even your field of expertise. How you going to tell me? Right. So I can only imagine what it's like for women.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Even when you supervise men.
Oh, goodness. Supervising men. Yes, we're going to talk about, and this is not, we're not male bashing by any means, but yeah, no, there are definitely challenges.
Yeah. So. Well, I'm Jillian Whatley. I'm a school psychologist for Atlanta Public Schools, but I actually supervise the school psychologist and the engagement specialist for Atlanta Public Schools. So I am the coordinator of psychological services and behavior programs. A lot of what I do is I work with families. I deal with students with disabilities, and so pretty much deal with a lot of legal aspects of special education.
Okay.
And that's it in a nutshell.
In a nutshell, yeah. No, there's so much. There's so much. So what we're going to go ahead and before we get deep into the strong black woman phenomenon, we're going to go ahead and get into some trending topics.
Primary election. Lack of diversity. Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
Okay, so for those of you who have not yet heard, very sad news coming out of Atlanta, Georgia. Thomas McKell Ford, who we know as Tommy from Martin, he passed away yesterday at the age of 52. And I'm getting chills and I'm feeling a little emotional even as I say that. I had the pleasure of meeting him about a month ago at an event that he was doing, and it was this was his work, for the world, and he was working with young men and building bridges and really touching the lives of these young men who were high school students, and I feel for them because what a loss for them as well. But of course, his family and friends, this is a deep loss. He was known and also credited as Tommy Ford, passed away Wednesday in an Atlanta hospital surrounded by family and friends around noon. Around noon, TMZ first reported that there was false reports of him passing before he actually did. He suffered an aneurysm that ruptured in his abdomen. He had been hospitalized since Sunday, and his health continued to decline ever since. And he was not expected to make it through the day on Wednesday when he passed. Now, Tommy starred in all 5 seasons of Martin, appeared in New York Undercover, The Jamie Foxx Show, The Parkers, other movies, and he was actively involved, as I mentioned, in the community, working with young men in anti-violence prevention initiatives. And I don't know if many of you know this, but also wrote children's books that promoted drug-free and violent-free lifestyles. So, very sad news. And then also, Janet Jackson finally, officially announces her pregnancy. We all kind of knew. When she first said, I'm going to cancel my whole tour to start a family, I say, you going to cancel your tour to have sex? Like, I don't understand. Like, what's going on? She's pregnant. So she's officially confirming her pregnancy, showing off her baby bump, photo shoots, and after what I think we're looking at, they're saying January is when the baby should be born. And so she's obviously, I say obviously because she's 50, she's on bed rest, but it sounds like things are going well so far. So there's, y'all have anything to say?
This will be her second child, right?
Her second?
The one she doesn't claim by the Lord.
That one.
Her sister is raising.
Yeah, we're gonna act like that. That's not a thing.
That's right. I forgot about that one.
This ain't her first time around that rodeo.
Now these are are they speculations? I mean,
allegedly.
As far as I know, they're
allegedly.
Yeah, we have to have some responsible journalism in here, so we'll say allegedly.
Allegedly,
because But yes, I forgot about that. Well, she's not being raised anymore. This person, she's got to be.
I think she just graduated from Harvard or Yale or something.
Yeah, I was going to say she's got to be grown now.
Let's stop the line.
If you'd like to come on the show, what's her name?
I
want to hear your story.
Janet Jr. Reedy Jr.
Well, we're going to go to a break, and we come back. Get ready. We're going to have some good dialogue for you.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He'd guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
Great leaders aren't born, they're made. And not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
What's up, sis?
Nothing. Just sitting here reading about HIV in Atlanta and its surrounding areas. Did you know we're number 8 in the nation?
I know.
You need to get tested.
Nah, I don't get down like that. I'm good.
But you are a ladies' man. You don't know who they're with when they're not with you.
If I need to get tested, so do you.
No, I don't. I'm married.
True, but you don't know who he's with when he's not with you.
Oh, you got jokes. He's not like that.
Fact is, no one really knows what their partner is doing or who their partner is with when they're away.
Well, I'll get tested if you get tested.
Cool. Where can we go?
This article I'm reading says the Lifeline Project of CSB does free HIV testing. Let's go there.
Lifeline Project, here we come.
The Lifeline Project is a SAMHSA grant. For more information on free testing, please call 770-499-2422 or visit us on the web at www.cobbcsb.com.
So what you and I have got to do is get involved. You and I have to be right there breathing down their throat. Every time they look over their shoulder, we want them to see us.
Hey y'all, this is Erica Gray. Exercise your right to vote.
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 This is Leah. Y'all already know to go out there and exercise your right to vote. So go ahead and get out and vote.
Welcome back to the Live Exchange. Dr. Pamela. And we are talking about the strong black woman phenomenon. And I have two awesome guests here with me today who are, going to help me with some insight. So let's talk about this strong black woman phenomenon. I mean, when you hear the word strong black woman, what comes to mind?
Well, when we were discussing it, prior to the show, when it's like a double-edged sword to me. Because, on the one hand, you hear strong black woman, and like I said, it's kind of like the masculinization of black women. Mm. But then on the other hand, it's like you look at the certain societal and socioeconomic structure that, a lot of us are in. And, I don't care if it's from the fact that, we have more teenage pregnancy in the black community. We have black women that are getting married later in life, or if at all, because of the low marriage rates. If you put anyone, whether it's a man or a woman, but if you put anyone in a situation where they're going to have to fight, claw, scratch, you got to deal with sexism, racism, every other type of ism, and then you have to provide for a family on your own. How can you not become strong? And then, but when you go to work with that strong black woman complex, or what we might see as something that's good, other races might look at it as like, oh, well, she's a mad black woman, or she's an angry black woman. So anytime they step to you with some stupid stuff, I
knew it was coming out.
But anytime they step to you with something, then you stand up for yourself, and you could be completely right. And then they're like, oh mad black woman. Right. And when I was saying earlier, the reason why I stepped out on my own was because as soon as I stood up for myself, or didn't go for the nonsense, I'm the mad black man. Mm-hmm. So I can only imagine what it's like for you guys. And then, like you say, when that bleeds over, when you end up dealing with a dusty dude who can't, when he sees that you have everything going on for you, and then now he wants you to either dim your light to make him feel brighter or something like that. Right. Now he's, this mad black. And then you get to Tony Tommy Sotomayor's talking about, oh, these black women ain't nothing, and it just it's like I said, it's a scarlet letter and it's a badge of honor all at the same time. It's an interesting dichotomy that you guys have to go through.
It is. It truly is, and especially in relationships. I think for me, I'm a single black mom. And with that comes a hustle and a grind that, only a single black mom would know about. And I have to do what I have to do because even though my daughter's father is very active in her life, but 90% of the time, who's she with? She's with her mom. And so I have to, make decisions for our life every day. And with that comes that assertiveness. Mm-hmm. And then when you're at work and you're around people who don't understand that, then the perception is that you're a little... da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, well, because I speak my mind, because I articulate myself, because I know what I want and I go after it, now I'm perceived as a person like this. So, I think we do, as black women, we have to play this role, and then in the midst of it, not lose who you are. Who are you truly inside, so, yeah.
Well, and why is strong black woman a thing? We don't hear, or is it a thing? We don't hear strong white woman, strong Asian woman, strong, why is that attached to the black woman? What is
I think it has something to do with slavery, because I think people didn't expect us to be strong after you've been raped and bullied and beat for, and then all of a sudden you coming back saying, I'm Angela Davis with my fist in the air, because those are the people that are associated with strong black women historically. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden, the person that we beat up, we raped, we enslaved, you're standing up for yourself? Oh,
how dare you.
So now let's call you a strong black woman and let it be negative.
Wow.
They'll use anything against you.
Mm-hmm. Goodness, and we got to go into research after that. So, so we're going to go into the research, and we're going to come back to that point.
In the interest of science.
Okay, so the research. One of the things that I really I thought we needed to have this at the forefront was this whole philosophy of black feminism. So we have feminism, we have even a critical race theory. There are a lot of different theories out there that exist. But there's a lot of misconceptions about what feminism is, and especially black feminism. And, somebody hears black feminism and they're scared. So, but black feminism is a school of thought which argues that sexism, class oppression, gender identity, and racism are inextricably bound together. The way that these concepts relate to each other, it's called intersectionality. So we've got the intersection of our race, we got the intersection of our gender, and the intersection of sexism, of class. All of these things are coming together to impact our identity. Intersectionality theory was coined by Kimberly Crenshaw in 1989, and we use this term, across the board. So when we're looking at intersectionality, in the LGBT community. So I'm a woman, and I'm gay, and I'm black, and I'm, and so what are all of those different identities that come together that impact who you are, and even how you see yourself, but how society sees you. According to an article written by Georgina Class-Peters from the University of Delaware, this was in the Huffington Post, African American women who initially joined the movement of the feminist movement soon left because the master frames of the movement they highlighted the white experience. The movement participants used a colorblind approach. And a lot of people take a lot of pride in colorblind. I don't see color, and that is a very naive, color. Right, you see my color, please.
Please, I want you to see my color.
It's a very naive approach to human interaction, and this colorblind approach basically ignores and invalidates the experience of black people. And for the feminist movement in particular, it ignored and invalidated the experience of black women. So as you had just mentioned, Jill, black women being abused, raped, oppressed was not the same experience as what white women experienced. Now, we're not saying white women didn't get raped. We know that the rape of black women was a political structure, a political move of oppression. And so this is an experience that was not accounted for in the feminist movement. So what black feminism does is it looks at the experience of being a woman from a racial, socioeconomic standpoint. Initiatives like the natural hair movement or tackling not being seen as exotic, incorporating black feminist studies at colleges and universities, legislation against rape. And so there are a lot of things that have come out of this whole idea of black feminism. When we come back, I'm going to give you a little bit of, from a male's perspective, of what he got out of black feminism, and I would love to hear the two of you chime in on this. We'll be right back.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change, called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Marie Callender's knows that you may not have time to roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch, or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken and a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie, but Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special, sit down, and savor. Marie Callender's, it's time to savor.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it. And it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He guides us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
If you're looking for that ratchet, you're in the wrong place. It's the nation's urban internet station, Sensation Station Network.
Inextricably. Welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we are talking, I was almost about to say black power. We are talking black feminism, the strong black woman. I gave a definition of what black feminism is, and in a nutshell, it's a school of thought which argues that sexism, class oppression, gender identity, and racism, I do have to say it again, are inextricably bound together. And so, but it's the idea that it rises out of feminism, and it says, we need you to not be colorblind in this feminism approach and to really acknowledge our experience as black women. There's an interesting take on black women by a black man in an article entitled "Black Feminism Will Save My Life." I loved the article. I've posted it to the Live Exchange page if you want to check it out. But in it, he imparts the gifts of black feminism. There are 6 gifts. So he was introduced to it as a framework in graduate school, and it's kind of been, he's embraced it and has used it in all his work since. But the gift of black feminism, number 1, is the gift of self-definition. So we get to identify ourselves rather than having a society identify us. The gift of liberation from oppressive institutions. The gift of positionality, meaning how one's intersectional position shapes one's view of the world. So again, acknowledging the intersectionality of our identity. The gift of self-care as a political act. The gift of entrepreneurship, and the gift of giving back. And for him, using his privileged status as a man to be able to give back to the movement, to the cause. So without further me talking everybody's heads off, I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this.
Well, black feminism.
Oh, he's going to do a poem.
My ode to black feminism. Well, the thing about black feminism that I heard you mention in the previous segment, that you said it turns a lot of people off. And the reason why that term turns a lot of people off, myself included, is because what usually ends up happening is that the white feminists never step up for you guys. They never do. We all remember Daniel Holtzclaw, the police officer that was convicted out in Tulsa of raping numerous amounts of black women.
Yes.
The little girl in I think it was either Dallas or Houston when they had the little party, and the police officer came and slammed her down like she was the cop up in South Carolina. All of these times we've seen black women mishandled, mistreated.
Yeah.
But the only time the white feminists step up and say, okay, let's help out, is when it's a black man doing something wrong or doing something to you guys, and he's a rich and a famous guy. But if it's just on, you guys getting mistreated by either a white man or somebody non-black, it seems like they never step up for you guys. But the only time they come and say, hey, let's be colorblind, when they need your votes or your voice or your numbers, then they come pull you in.
When it
but
benefits them.
Yeah, and like I am all for, empowering women. I want you guys to, because, like with the entrepreneurship, I invest in a lot of other smaller businesses. And by and large, it's been women. And that might come from the strong black woman thing, from where they know that they have to hustle and struggle a little bit more. Because, and I try to work with, the only black guys I work with that are entrepreneurs are my sons. And, they were going to come just, so they could experience something new. But they have a T-shirt company, and they're working on this big order that they got to get out by, later on today.
I love it.
But by and large, the companies that I've invested in, they have all been ran by black women. So, I mean, the black feminism thing, it's just become something like black power has become synonymous. Now it has a bad connotation. Or secretary. Now you can't call people secretaries. Like, I'm all for the empowerment. And believe me, my kids lost their mother in 2011. I was already, strong in their life, and we had only broken up like a year and a half before that. But they have lived with me, full time since then, and it's just been us. So I know what it's like to go to the grocery store thinking I'm just gonna buy some hot dogs or something like that, spend $20, end up spending $100. So I know what it's like to have to go to the phone calls from the teachers and stuff like that. I know about all of that.
The real work.
Yeah. So when people say, child support, that's a broke woman, like, no. I am a man of means. Like, even when I was working for a company, I made, 6 figures, and it still was tough. So I can only imagine what you guys have to go through when you're making $30,000-$40,000 and you got 2 kids. It's crazy.
Yes, Jesus. And the thing about it is when you get in a relationship, and at this point in my life, for me, I don't want to have that perception of a strong black woman. I want to be able to turn over some things.
Hello.
But it seems as if when you meet certain people, they become intimidated by your assertiveness instead of working with you and really stepping up. Because if you step up, trust me, I will step down. Right. There are certain things I would like to relinquish, but I've not found in dating and just some of my other friends in conversation, somebody who's willing to step up in that manner where you can take away some of that, carry everything on your shoulders. Right. Because as a strong black woman, whatever you want to call it, it gets heavy. Who wants to carry everything on their shoulders, really? Right. Even the women that say, oh, I'm a strong black woman. I don't need a man. I don't need a man. I mean, yeah, I might not need one. I need a man. Hello. I would love a good man. Okay. But then another thing, like with you guys being professional and your doctors and stuff like that, then the guys that are on your level, because the guys that are below your level are going to be intimidated straight, and that's not me saying that that's right or wrong. That's what I've seen. Guys who are below you are going to be intimidated, and then the guys that are on your level go and get white girls. So or they want to compete with you on who's smarter. And when I'm at home, I'm not your doctor. Yeah. I'm not the coordinator of psychological services.
You didn't know that. You didn't know the answer to that, doctor.
Right. I'm at home with mismatched socks on, so I'm cool.
Oh man. Okay, so we got the men dating the white women who are on our level, the men who are intimidated. We're gonna have to come back to all of that because that's some good stuff. But before we do that, we're gonna get into the balance challenge.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela.
Meditation, quiet moments on the couch, driving silently. Take some time to find your calm each day this week. So this week's challenge is to find your peace. or help her find her peace. So if you are a black woman, every day this week, I want you to take a moment to find your peace. And if you love a black woman, I want you every day this week to help that black woman find her peace. Wow. Sisters, help each other, whatever we have to do. But make that your balance challenge for this week. Y'all have anything to add to that? I like that.
Help me find my peace instead of me helping you find your peace. I don't want to be your psychologist anymore. I'm sorry if you're watching.
I mean, that's the job of any man, though. I mean, even if it's your aunt, sister, cousin, something like that, I guess you could try to, do something, to, like get up and go get all of the groceries out. Do something.
Right. And I think in a relationship, too, sometimes it's reciprocated, too. Help him find his peace, too. Because it's hard for black men as well.
Yes,
but if you got two people in a situation where they're helping each other find their peace every day, imagine what a beautiful thing that is.
It is.
When you come home, that's your sanctuary. Some people, they're everywhere else because they don't want to go home.
For some places, home is a war zone.
Home is a war zone, and that's sad. I can't live like that. No. I got out of that.
Amen.
Well, we have some comments here from some of the Facebook folks. Vaughn Wrighton is saying, real men know how to love you right where you are. Amen. I agree. No dispute there. And then he asks the question, do you have to be a feminist to be powerful and aware? I don't think so. I come from a long line of powerful women. What do you all think?
Do you have to be a feminist to be powerful and aware? No.
Do you mean like a feminist as structured right here where you have to have like your card and you're in the group
and the fist up
or is it like you're a feminist as a woman you strive for equality and you strive to have everything equal and get everything you deserve? Because I mean I think those are two different things.
Yeah, like so if you're talking about membership, no, you don't have to be a member of the feminist movement. But there's basically a philosophical understanding of I want equal rights for women. I want women to, and that doesn't mean you're on the street with a picket sign. It just means that in your everyday life, you help advance that cause as opposed to blocking that cause. So in your workplace, if you see something happen that isn't right, and it's not like, and if you're feminist, it doesn't mean you're only a feminist. It means, it could just mean that you are just about social justice in general, and part of that is feminist. Right. The other part of it can be, about. I don't think we put things in boxes and labels all the time.
I can't do that. Yeah, I think for me, like even when I'm interviewing people for a position, and if they don't get it, I feel it's my obligation to call them back and say, hey, this is what you could work on for next time. Like maybe next time don't wear the stripper dress to the interview. You were good with what you said, but it turned off all the other panel members, when you came in with your breast out. So I take that time to mentor another woman because I don't plan to be in this position forever. The goal is to pass the torch, right? And I don't get intimidated by other women as well.
But when you do something like that, though, you have the Amber Rose type movement of the no slut shaming.
Right.
And then they will say, well, it's about me, I'm empowered, I'm a woman, you shouldn't be, it shouldn't distract you that my boobs are out. I should be able to...
But if you're working with children, it's going to distract. It depends on where you are, Amber. And Amber, where do you work?
She has a little show on VH1.
Okay, that's VH1. So to the young girls,
but there is an entire sub movement within the feminist movement about liberation and what we wear, and so
no slut shaming.
Right. So it, there is not just one. It's not monolithic. There isn't just one way to approach feminism. There isn't one way to approach social justice. And so I think that if we get too caught up in this whole boxed idea of what feminism is, then, we're living it in many ways without even realizing it. Yeah. So, but thank you for questions. We'll be right back.
Get ready. Playing the best R&B and some hip-hop on Sensation Station Network.
What's up, sis?
Nothing. Just sitting here reading about HIV in Atlanta and its surrounding areas. Did you know we're number 8 in the nation?
I know.
You need to get tested.
Nah, I don't get down like that. I'm good.
But you are a ladies' man. You don't know who they're with when they're not with you.
If I need to get tested, so do you.
No, I don't. I'm married.
True, but you don't know who he's with when he's not with you.
Oh, you got jokes. He's not like that.
Fact is, no one really knows what their partner is doing or who their partner is with when they're away.
Well, I'll get tested if you get tested.
Cool. Where can we go?
This article I'm reading says the Lifeline Project of CSB does free HIV testing. Let's go there.
Lifeline Project, here we come.
The Lifeline Project is a SAMHSA grant. For more information on free testing, please call 770-499-2422 or visit us on the web at www.cobcsb.com.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
JBT 700 Miami Circle 30324. It's not a chain, it's a chain reaction.
Invest $49 a month at a real gym.
For more info, go to facebook.com/Jeans Body Tech.
And so a new American industry has been born.
Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and today we are talking about the strong black woman phenomenon. And it looks like we've got lots of comments that I definitely want to acknowledge and bring out here from the Facebook Live viewers. I see J. Marie, and she's saying, OMG, yes. I get that all the time, especially at work. They aren't bold enough to say it directly to me, but I definitely have that angry black woman label.
What you say, how you say it, how you are perceived. If you speak your mind, then you're the strong black woman.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, Jamie, you've gotten pulled in about that.
Yeah,
or maybe you got a dirty look.
And she's saying the angry black woman label. Is that synonymous? Angry black woman, strong black woman?
To some people it is.
I think they make the direct correlation. Mm-hmm. And that's other races, sometimes within the race, because you can have people who, strive to be, Negro pens. And
say what?
Negro, like a black European.
Okay, gotcha. I gotcha. Okay.
And so they'll give you guys, they're over there, elbowing with, the white guys saying,
right.
oh yeah, she's a mad black woman. And it's like,
yeah.
Stop it, because as soon as you leave away too,
they talking about you.
Yeah, they talking about you too. So
trust that.
It's insane, but I mean, it's something that's why with me, I stress see, now I can't even say it like
the journalists are struggling today.
Yeah, the entrepreneur, get in your own business. How about that? Because we understand each other more. So like if a black guy or a black woman is in working for me and then they get a little upset, it's nothing to me. But to a white person, it's like, oh my God, he's gonna shoot up the building or something. Yeah. It was a black lady that I worked with years ago, and they were laying her off. Do you know they called 6 police officers up there
to escort her out?
And not even before they like they called them first. And then they let her know she was laid off, and then she just cleaned out her desk, and she left. But it was like she,
right. And sometimes our passion and our zest or whatever for whatever we're talking about gets misconstrued. Mm-hmm. And I remember something similar happening when I was a psychologist practicing in a school system, and the parent was very passionate about his child, as we all should, as they want us to be.
Right.
But before they had a meeting with him, they were like, I think we should call the cops, just in case. And I said, excuse me? We had to close the door. I said, excuse me? Why are we calling the cops? I said, this man's not posed a threat. He just wants what's right for his child. Mm-hmm. Now, if this was Joe Bull or a friend down the street, angry, we're going to take her in there and do a little counseling session. But we're calling the cops.
Wow.
But I took it upon myself to check that team. Do you see what I'm saying?
And so this is an example of, and let's just flip this. Let's say this was a woman. This would be an example of feminist behavior, saying that I'm going to stand for this woman. So in this case, it's an example of, just I'm going to stand with this man. I'm going to make sure that he's treated fairly, that he's treated right. So when we want to put labels on things, all it is really us as, cherishing and honoring the dignity of other people and making sure that they're being treated with human dignity.
But when you're inside of someone else's structure and you don't own the company and you do that at your own peril, because I have a friend. He's a superintendent now for a big general contractor. He was somewhere else prior to it. I think it was a Hispanic lady and a black lady. They were being sexually harassed by one of the other superintendents. He stepped up. He told he straightened the guy out, and then he took it to the next level and reported it to the superiors and stuff. Guess who they got rid of? They got rid of him and the two minority ladies. So I mean, it's no risk. It's no different than like how we talk about like the sports stars and the athletes and the musicians and whatever, because if they step up and say something, they risk losing millions of dollars. That's why I love Kaepernick. So I got my Kaepernick
Oh,
shirt.
you sure do.
Oh wow.
But made by my kids.
I love it.
But it's you do it at your own peril. And I mean I've gotten let go from certain projects for stepping up and saying stuff. So I mean
But at the end of the day, for me, I believe God covers you. And so, for me, if you're elevated to a position, it's your responsibility to advocate for people, and for people's rights and, freedoms. I cannot in good consciousness watch someone be harassed at work and not say anything. And I've been in those positions.
Right.
Now, how you say it may be different. I'm not going to go in there and start swinging chairs, but I think it's something to bring
the
up.
cops.
Right, then they'll really call cops.
Well, and before we go to break, I just have to add this Crispy Cuts on Facebook. He's a barber. It says, I understand you women and the amount of responsibility you face day in and day out. I've been a single father for 10 years, and I'm proud of my strong black women. And on that note,
thank you, Crispy.
On that note, we're going to be right back.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
This is what legends are made of. This is what legends are made of.
As long as I see that fire in your eyes, I know we still good.
I do it off of the love.
We built this family, and this family's strong.
Empire on Fox.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Love Notes with Dr. Pamela.
All right, so today's love note comes from a woman labeling or naming, I guess, signed frustrated. She's frustrated. She says, Dear Dr. Pamela, I'm having the hardest time finding a man who isn't intimidated by me. We just talked about this a little bit ago. I've been in relationships that always end with him not feeling like he has anything to contribute to the relationship. But I'm always grateful for all that he brings to the table. Am I not expressing it enough? Do I need to dim my light? I really don't want to do that, but I'm really kind of getting tired of taking this world on alone. Is it too much for me to ask? Is it too much to ask for me to have a strong black man at my side? I know they exist because I see them daily, but I can't understand why things don't work out when I try to date them. Signed, Frustrated. Now, obviously, we don't know all the details of what's going on there.
Right.
All we have is what she said. Any thoughts?
Well, we kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday also. When you have a woman that has something going for herself, and I'm not talking about me, but I've had friends who have dated like women that have their stuff together, and for some reason it just seems like it never works out with them and that lady who is, you know, I guess you would say financially or, you know, in a career aspect above them. And what it seems to me to be is that, you know, we're supposed to be men. And, you know, a lot of us are old school and we have those old school mentalities. But when they come home after being sunned all day at work, because that's what you usually do if you're a black dude. You can't be a man. You got to kind of neuter yourself, because if you don't, you're the mad black man.
No.
But then when they come home, it's like, now I'm looking at this woman who is paying a majority of the bills or whatever. And then they end up, you know, not being able to, I guess, in their mind, reconcile that as being a man. Then they end up with someone who's, you know, on a lower socioeconomic, you know, status.
That's interesting.
And then, you know, so that they can be like, well, you know, I pay the bills. Whatever.
So there's no place between work and home where they can be the man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've also heard that some guys are choosing women that are low-hanging fruit, that are easy to kind of grab, whereas some women, their expectations may be too high, which I don't think my expectations are any higher than anybody else's, but it just takes too much work.
Well, now come on, now we're in Atlanta. There's
a lot of...
There's some expectations that are pretty low in some circles.
It is low, and I'm like, I'm not doing that.
But what's, you know, and I think that's really interesting. But it's frustrating from a woman's standpoint, because the answer, and I think the question that she's asking is, so then what do I do? I mean, do I dim my light? Do I want a strong black man in my life? So what is it that I need to do?
Well, I would never dim my light.
Yeah.
You got Whitney Houston in a very bad place.
Yeah.
When she talked about that, about how she dimmed her light for Bobby and where she is now, that spoke volumes to me when she said that in an interview with Oprah. I said, you know what? I'm going to keep my light up. And I know there's somebody out there that God has for me. It gets frustrating sometimes because you're like, what am I doing? I know last guy tried to date, or he tried to date me. I tried to put him on to doing something entrepreneurial, and it intimidated him. And he intimidated him to the point. I'm like, well, what? I'm trying to help you up your game. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and there was there was a conversation that I was having, and one of the points that I made is, you know, there are things, we have strengths that they don't have, and they have strengths that we don't have. And so if I have a strength that happens to be one of his weaknesses, it's hard for me to watch my man drowning in waters that I can practically walk on.
Exactly.
You know, and it's like, what, do I let him drown because I want him to be a man, or, you know, or do I just kind of...
I struggle with that. You need help, right? Because I don't know what to do. And I can't watch people drown.
And, I mean, it's hard because I'm 39. I'm 39.
Me too.
And,
me too.
And you know, we have those grandparents that we grew up with, and we saw, like, granddaddy is king of everything.
Right.
You know, grandmama just be quiet, she cook, da 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 da. So I mean, psychologically, you think that's what you're supposed to have. That's what you're supposed to do. You know, even if it's on a subconscious level. But you know, with things being the way that they are these days, with black women being the most educated segment of society, bar none. You know, you guys are getting college degrees at a rate that no one else. That's white men, white women, whatever.
Right.
And you know, it's like black men are falling behind, whether it's due to, you know, getting caught up with, you know, little prison stuff here, or everybody want to be a rapper or whatever. But then by the time, you know, we get through that phase when we start to grow up at like 25 to 30, you guys have your degrees. You guys are already moving in a direction. And then, you know, a lot of these guys are ending up working in plants or this or that or whatever, or maybe have a couple of petty drug charges, whatever. But it's like now they so far behind. And then, like, we've always been taught that, you know, go to school, get a good job, and work for somebody. But that's not possible for some guys who, who can't go to college. But like you said, you could be an entrepreneur. You just need to have the drive and the willing and to figure out, okay, this is missing in this space. Let me fill this need. But a lot of us are scared. And then even when we aren't scared, sometimes we can't get the funding. So, I mean, sisters, I feel for y'all.
So you don't have an answer then. You don't have anything for us to do.
Now this is what I will say. What you got, or what all black people really need to do. We need to start being more of an international people. We do need, and I ain't talking about just going to the Bahamas or whatever. I mean, like, we should start traveling. I mean, it's the UK, Australia, whatever. Well, they wiping the indigenous people out there. But Africa is a great. Like, Africa is not the way they portray it on TV. Right. It's not like all dust, sand, and
Right.
7-year-olds with AK-47s. It's
Right.
not like that.
Right.
But, you know, they tell AIDS, Ebola, Zika, you know, let them tell all that stuff going on. But we need to be more of a mobile people. But, you know, we all know most of our friends don't really leave where we're from.
Right, and then the other piece about it too is, like, I think I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, and everything was very community, very family, and you know, you did marry the person you probably went to school with up the street, and some part, you know, up the street, y'all know each other's families, so it was that sense of that level made you feel comfortable. Whereas now everybody does move a lot, and so when you meet people, you know, sometimes you gotta be like, okay, were you a girl when you came out your mama's womb and now you're a man, or were you a what? You know, it's too many questions. And for me, I like having that connectivity. That's like one of my number one strength finders at work is connection. Like I like to know somebody that knows somebody. I don't want to just date somebody just out of the blue because I feel kind of odd with that. Like I feel comfortable with that level of connectivity. And so, but that goes back to me having that communal sense. Like our communities are so fragmented at this point because people move and they all over the place and they travel here. They do move to Atlanta to create their new self. And then back in Mississippi, you know you was somebody else. Okay? You know you Bobo back there, but here you're Dr. So-and-so.
But, you know, but sometimes you get pigeonholed into, because it could have been something stupid that happened in the 10th grade, and for whatever reason, you're going to always be the dude that peed his pants. No matter what you do,
so you have to.
Doctorates, whatever. So sometimes you got to leave.
Well, yeah, for those of you who peed your pants, please.
Or something, you know, something. But, I mean, it's tough though, and I do understand it from you guys' standpoint because it's a lot of dusty dudes out there. It's a lot of dudes. I mean, it's a lot of people who just, you know, and I'm not even saying it's like, oh, you know, we need to fix ourselves because we get pushed into a lot of stuff, but you have to rise above that a lot of times, and you have to be able to see what they're doing to us as a people. But it's like a lot of us don't see it until it's too late. You know, like some of us have to get incarcerated. I've never been in jail. But I'm saying some people do go to jail and then they figure out and then they come out. But then it's like, what you going to do? Because now you have a record.
Yeah.
Right.
So
and we all have different kinds of desert experiences. So, you know, maybe incarceration for some, it may be divorce for others. You know, whatever. But when we come back, we're gonna dig into this a little bit more. So stay with us, and we'll be right back.
On Tuesday, November 8th, this country will make one of the most important decisions in its history. You have a chance.
You have an obligation
to be a part of that decision.
You might think it's not important. You might think you're not important.
But that's not true.
We can't say one vote doesn't matter.
Your vote matters.
Your vote matters. It affects everything.
We're all in this together. That's why the most popular or memorable actor is the last one you see.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Tell me something. With all this money coming in from both sides, how could anything possibly ever get done?
It doesn't. That's the genius of the system.
Exercise your right to vote.
Exercise your right to vote.
Exercise your right to vote.
It's the Blonde Bombshell Blondie Lockhart of the Happy Hour. Make sure that you exercise your right to vote.
Back to Live Exchange. This is Dr. Pamela. And I am here with, we're like at the top. We finished the first hour already. My goodness, time flies, y'all. Well, welcome to the second hour of the Live Exchange, where we exchange compelling dialogue around love, politics, and intellect every Thursday from 11 to 1. I'm Dr. Pamela, and today we are talking about what it really means to be a strong black woman. Today's show is called Redefining Strong, Dissecting the Strong Black Woman Phenomenon. So I have guests here with me today who are really helping me dissect this thing, Carman and Jillian. And our audience is just awesome. So thank you all for your comments. And there was another one from Jay Marie that I really wanted to read. She says, you know, because I asked the question earlier, is strong black woman a thing, you know, just for the black women? You know, we don't hear strong Asian woman, strong white woman, and it certainly isn't given a negative connotation in the way that it is for us. Jay Marie says other races are labeled as assertive women rather than the negative strong black woman.
Right, that's true.
So,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And, you know, an assertive, of course, as we know, is a positive thing. We see that as a good thing.
It depends on who's saying it.
Does it?
Yes.
And elaborate.
Because I mean, when like if I say, oh, you know, she's assertive, but then Bill in accounting says, well, you know, she's assertive. She's don't know, you know, they will take anything to turn around on you. That's why I like I said, being a single dad, you know, caring for 2 children on my own, I have a different, you know, view, because I know what it's like to be that single parent, to have to do all the little other stuff, and then you have to go to work, and then, you know, like it's just because, for instance, me and Carletta were talking the other day, and then she was saying, you know, like how you guys do have it tough. You know, you have from a double-edged sword. Okay. But then, you know, she was saying, well, you know, you guys, you know, being black men make more than we do, so you have the power. And I'm like, no. I'm on the same bus as you. It's not my bus. You know, I might be sitting a row in front of you because I make a few more dollars, but I have no power. Mm. So, you know, to speak to that, you know, I know how you guys are saying that, you know, being that assertive woman, and you know, and folks jump and grab the Bible and say, oh, well, you know, a woman's supposed to be submissive, and then they just take the barest sense of the word submissive. I walk in the house, you're supposed to do whatever I tell you to do. Right. It don't even matter if I'm not doing anything that I need to be doing. Like if you cook, then I should wash the dishes. Right. You know, like, I should take out the trash or something. But it's like going back to grandmama, granddaddy. Granddaddy come home, sit in his chair, smoke his pipe. Grandmama do everything. And you know
that ain't going.
That's not. If you read you gotta work.
And I did say ain't. If you read a couple passages down in that Bible verse, it says that wives submit to their husbands, husbands submit to wives, and children submit to their parents.
They don't go that far.
But see, people stay stuck on that first part, and I'm like,
but they also don't see the part about loving your wives, like the love. I mean, there's a reason why that was put on the husband to love, because we need that. We need that love and affection, and women, you know, and men do need to feel like men, you know, and so I get that. But you know, the dynamic is so different than it was in our grandmother's day, that you know we've got to adjust for that. I mean, if we're in a position where we have to handle everything, we have to, and then a person comes into our lives. Yeah, you know, we have to adjust together, but it goes both ways. It's not just I adjust or just he adjusts. We all have to adjust.
And it's okay if maybe you're, as a man, you're weak in finances. If I'm strong in finances, let me have that. If you're stronger in one area, it's kind of like project managing, you know, with a family. A family is like a business. Just because you're the head doesn't mean you know everything. You're the head for a reason, but you rely on other pieces in the family to make the business work. That's what it is.
Well, I love the old Greek saying that's, you know, the man is the head, but the woman's in the neck. So
really? Yeah.
So your head can't go nowhere unless the neck is directing where that head goes. So,
but you know, if you guys make more money, that as soon as you get into an argument or whatever, then you know that kind of comes up sometimes, and then they
does it? It's never come up for me, but
I never brought it up. I remember my daughter's father saying he thought that I wore the penis, and I told him, you know, well, if I do wear the penis, I'm handling everything. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
so
ouch,
right? So that probably was not good. But he said that, you know, and I was like, well, what do you mean?
And that's exactly what I said. They bring it up. They tend to bring it up, you know, because you make all this money. Ain't nobody thinking about how much money.
But that will always be the latent insecurity. It can either be latent or it can be overt, for the simple fact that in this society, a man is supposed to be the provider.
How does that change? How do we change
that? Because I'm not.
I can't
do it for you. I can only help you, sir.
Take a pay cut.
Oh, okay.
Negative.
If y'all make double, we'll take the pay. No.
Hey, no.
When I was with my kid's mother, and like
we gotta go to break.
For 15 minutes she was making more than me. I worked like all types of overtime just
so you could, And hey, I ain't even mad at that. I ain't even mad at that. All right, well, we'll be right back.
Sensation Station Network.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it. And it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He'd guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change, called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Vince Lombardi once said that it's hard to be aggressive when you're confused. Some of us think that taking our lives to the next level, both personally and professionally, is a confusing and complicated process. Guess what? It's not, and I can prove it. My book, Truisms, will show you how living your life by rules that are so self-evident and obvious, you'll say, I knew that. This powerful yet short, detailed bestseller is on sale right now, under $10. Go to michaelmcfadden.com. That's michaelmcfadden.com, and let Truisms help you to the next level.
Sensation Network. Radio, not dumbed down.
Primary election.
Lack of diversity.
Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
All right. Are we in? Oh, okay. Okay, what's going on? So, trending topics. We've got, this is, I'm sorry, y'all. I got to bring this up. The world is talking about sexual harassment, sexual assault, and all of that right now. So, yeah. So we've got two men who are on the forefront of the media in two different ways right now. The conversation, very different situations, possibly. Donald Trump and Nate Parker. Yes, we're talking about Nate Parker. So, Tom Hanks recently on Donald Trump says, Tom Hanks has joined a chorus of celebrities who have been condemning Donald Trump over the graphic comments he made about women in 2005 video, and which Donald Trump defended by saying, it's just locker room talk.
Right.
Tom Hanks says he was at work, man. He wasn't in a locker room. He was at work. He was showing up to do a thing on camera. Look, I'm offended as a man. That's not right. I'm sorry. It's not right at work. It's not right in the locker room. It's just wrong, period, the end. That's all. So that's Tom Hanks. Now, according to New York Daily News, there's also currently, I don't know how many of you have heard this because I don't know why this isn't more in the forefront of the news, but there's currently a lawsuit accusing Donald Trump of raping a 13-year-old girl.
Yeah, I read that.
And they have a scheduled December hearing. So, yes. The accusation is that Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, another billionaire, assaulted her at a series of sex parties that Epstein threw in 1994. Now, these sex parties, they'd find underage girls, bring them in, and, so whether it's statutory, consensual, whatever, that might be an oxymoron. But, yeah, but this particular girl, now woman, talks about the brutal, it was a pretty brutal, awful attack. And so this is, a case where it's still live and active. That is not being discussed. I don't know why this is not being discussed.
Right. How's he still able to be in the running with this looming?
Yeah. So also, Ivana Trump accused him in the 90s of a violent sexual assault and rape. This was his ex-wife, in which he held back her arms and began to pull fistfuls of her hair out of her scalp and then raped her because the hair specialist she referred him to messed up his hair. And I know that part is funny, but the other,
it's crazy.
Yeah, and so he blamed her for that and brutally attacked her. And then after, then she court hearings, the divorce, she was silenced and she was not able to talk about that anymore. And then she recanted her statement and said, well, he didn't rape me in the illegal sense. In the criminal sense was her word.
Sense of rape?
Yeah, he didn't rape her in the criminal sense. So she recanted her words.
Wow.
And her Michael Cohen, special counsel of the Trump organization, defended his boss, saying, of course, we understand that by the very definition, you can't rape your spouse.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That was from the 90s, though, right?
That is recent. That the event happened in the 90s, but this was a recent statement because it's come back up.
So I remember back in the 90s, they were having the debate, can you rape your spouse? Mm-hmm. But I thought, since we're in 16, that we decided that you could. So, I didn't know that now they're still trying to push that agenda.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we look at the conversation around the country that's happening around sexual assault and rape. There is so much ignorance about, when we hear the case of the Stanford guy, he gets off. The judges don't even. And my thing is, the justice system has not caught up to what rape is, and really,
no, they haven't.
Because the justice system was raping people.
No,
right?
They have caught up, but what it is certain type of people get certain, because I know it's certain folks that get 30 years off first offense,
and they didn't do anything.
Some folks will sit up there and argue and look you in the face and say, 20 minutes of action shouldn't ruin this kid's life. But you in a
20
alley,
minutes of action.
but that's literally what they said in the Stanford swimmer, but and they literally had to when you have the stereotypical thought of rape in your mind, you think, being snatched into an alley by a stranger. And he was the stereotypical, not this gray stuff where, a date went wrong or somebody was drunk, blah, blah. No, this is the attacker.
The textbook.
Yeah. And he got 3 months.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
So
that's crazy.
So that's one case. Then we have Nate Parker. Nate Parker's Birth of a Nation came out this weekend and bombed in the box office. It wasn't
successful. Did it bomb though?
Well,
it only cost $5 million to make, and it made $7.
Well, that's a good point. But people are angry because it wasn't like number one, and people are saying it's because all the black women protested it, which is not true.
That is so not true.
All these dang strong black women,
These black women.
But some attribute it to a lack of appeal to historical films that depict slavery and segregation. Some people are just kind of over it. Yes. Others attribute it to masses of people who have declared that they will not see the film because of Nate's questionable past. I'll tell you why I haven't seen it, because I was told that there are, or I'm not just told, I've read that there are 2 very graphic rape scenes in the movie.
No, it's not.
There's not.
There's no rape scenes.
There's no rape scenes?
There's no rape scenes.
Okay, well that is the only reason why I haven't seen it, because
my mom saw it yesterday. She was like, I'm a little over the slavery thing. And she grew up in the 60s. Okay. And for her to say that, I was like, what happened?
But the difference in this movie, though, is that there is no, and the reason why I know why white people didn't go see it. There is no white savior for them to connect to. There is no Brad Pitt at the end of 12 Years a Slave. There is no Matthew McConaughey in Free State of Jones. There is no, whoever the white guy who decides to do right. There is not that. The only thing you have is black people self-determining, and they try to pull themselves out of whatever. And it is a slave movie, but it's a different slave movie.
There's
as
no
in
savior.
There's no white savior.
And there's no rape scenes.
There are no rape.
Well,
and
where
and
would
it's
that
some
come
brutal
from?
stuff. Now,
Right.
from what I've heard, he did have them, but they took them out of the final cut
okay,
because
well, then
like they film a lot of stuff and then stuff hits the
Right,
cutting
they
room
edit
floor.
and cut
Well,
it.
I'm glad they hit the cutting room floor because that's one thing I can't watch. But for those of you who are not aware of this whole Nate Parker situation, 17 years ago, when he was a student at Penn State, he and his roommate were accused of rape. They harassed the woman continuously for pressing charges, even after she moved off campus. In 2001, the other guy, Celestin, was found guilty of sexual assault, but Parker was cleared, with the defense repeatedly bringing up the woman's attire, her history of drinking, and previous sexual encounter with Parker, which was oral sex. So it was because of those things. Those are part of the reasons why he was not considered guilty. The university.
And then she also woke up the next morning and had sex with them again. And then his partner was also, his conviction was overturned a few years later.
Was it? Well, and what I read is she woke up to one of them having sex with her, or in which case would be rape if.
I mean, it's gross. That is gross.
But the university later settled in a case that was brought forth by the Women's Law Project for not adequately protecting women in protecting the woman in the case because she was continually assaulted, or I should say harassed, not assaulted, harassed, and she was awarded $17,000 in 2017,000, and in 2012, which may or may not have been connected. Her brother says it was connected, but she committed suicide, and so all of this came out and created a lot of controversy around whether or not the film should be viewed or not viewed, or supported or not supported. Right. And so when we come back, we can delve into that a little bit, but we're going to go to a break.
Deliberate dumbing down.
Dumb down society.
Deliberate dumbing down of America.
Dumb down public. Why would they do this?
Sensation Station Network. Radio, not dumbed down.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
I hate religion. Pretty shocking to hear coming from a pastor, huh? I'm Jasper. This is my wife, Alicia Williams. We would absolutely love to have you come and take a visit.
At the church, we're strictly about relationships. It's about deepening your walk with God. 4845 South Old Peachtree Road, Norcross, Georgia.
Or you can hit us online at www.thechurchinfo.org. Remember, at the church, it's about relationship, not religion.
Hi, I'm Harold Dennis, and I'm running for the office of DeKalb County Sheriff. I believe that there is a brighter future for DeKalb County, and as your sheriff, I will take a tough stance against those who choose to violate our laws and remain actively involved in building a rapport with our youth, which will combat the increasingly violent crimes committed by their peers. This will increase the value of our community in which I was proudly born and raised, allowed me the opportunity to continue my philosophy of public service and building a sound and responsive sheriff's office. Harold Dennis, vote for me November 8th for DeKalb County Sheriff. Then let's take DeKalb back. I'm Harold Dennis, and I approve this message.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I'm here in the studio with Carman and Jillian, and we are talking strong black woman. And I just, for trending topics, brought up Donald Trump, Nate Parker being brought to the forefront with regards to, issues around sexual assault, the conversation, if nothing else, sparking the conversation around the country about this topic. And it's actually really disheartening, some of the things that I'm hearing around the country about this. There was a panel that I actually posted it to the page as well. Oh gosh, why can't I think of his name? CNN, Anderson Cooper, hosted a panel of women who all vehemently defended Donald Trump, for, his actions, and
I think I saw that.
People are for sale, though. I mean, you can find, like he found a black church to go to. You can find a bunch of women. He has his Latinos for Trump. His spokesperson for him said, "Oh, it's going to be taco trucks on every corner."
And the Trump girls. Don't forget the Trump girls.
Oh, Star for Trump, Diamond and Silk.
Right. Yes. So yeah. I mean, but what's disturbing though is that these messages are being put out there, and while we have made great strides in acknowledging sexual assault and creating laws around it and helping to try to change attitudes about it, it's like we're taking leaps backwards.
We are. Even to hear women say, well, it was just locker room talk. I'm like, you wouldn't want somebody to talk about your daughter like that. I don't care if they're in the locker room or they're in the grocery store, they're wherever.
Or not even talk about her like that, but actually do that.
And actually do it. That take a step further and grab her that way.
Right.
But, I mean, like I said, people, if you don't have money and they offer you money or a chance at money, I mean, you can get anybody to say anything.
I guess if you don't, I feel like if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything, and they're falling big time.
Well,
you're gonna fall right into its penis.
And I don't think they will mind that very much. But it's what disturbs me though is what this is doing to mindsets. What this is doing to, what kind of conversations do these women that were sitting in because those are not. Those are not beliefs that don't exist, So everything that was being expressed in those interviews are real. They may be getting paid, they may have been bought, but there are people who really believe,
of course,
everything that these women are saying in defense of Donald Trump, and in defense of just sex predators in general. At the Stanford case, there were people who, of course, when you read those comments under articles, this is what happens when you drink alcohol.
There is no reason to rape a woman.
Yeah.
Period. Point blank.
Right.
And with going back to how you said that people have, that those attitudes by women are out there that kind of justify sexual assault or whatever Trump is saying. I mean, we have to realize that sellouts and coons and stuff like that are not just in the black community. I mean, you have women who try to align themselves with men. And they try to I'm just one of the guys. I don't even have girlfriends, and I hang around guys a lot cooler. And they try, that's just locker room talk, because they're trying to assimilate to that side so that they can move up.
Right.
And they'll go to the strip club with the fellows from work
and listen to that conversation and be in on it and be okay with it. Meanwhile, inside cringing.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to be a part of that.
Well, some have gotten so far that the cringing doesn't even happen anymore.
Right.
Because
that's sick.
It's kind of a defense mechanism. So they fooled themselves into believing that it's not a big deal.
Right.
Like how some folks will work with people and they might say the N-word all the time. Well, he don't mean it.
But you got to check that stuff though.
Yeah.
It's how you check it.
You don't check it if you're using it to move up.
Right. I guess you don't.
Well, okay. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and get into the research.
In the interest of science.
All right. So this theory is, and we're all pretty familiar with it, but I'd love to apply it to the strong black woman phenomenon. The whole idea of, well, not the whole idea, but Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So Abraham Maslow, a lot of us don't know his first name, it's Abraham. The hierarchy of needs is a motivational theory in psychology comprising a 5-tier model of human needs, often depicted often depicted as hierarchical levels within a pyramid. It is quite true that a man lives by bread alone when there's no bread. But what happens to a man or a woman's desire when there's plenty of bread and when her belly is chronically filled? And So at once other higher needs emerge, and these, rather than psychological hungers, dominate the organism, the person. And when these in turn are satisfied, again, new and still higher needs emerge. And this is what we mean by saying the basic human needs are organized into a hierarchy of relative prepotency. So here's the hierarchy. So the very basic needs are like air, food, drink, shelter, warmth, sex. Yes, sex is in there, and sleep. And so, never mind. I don't go there. But so when those needs are not fulfilled, a person is in a state of desperation. I've got to do what I got to do to survive. Yeah. And if we just look at that level alone, if we've got a single mom who's struggling, working, I have been there working 3 jobs in school, trying to keep a roof over our heads, and I'm in survival mode, you know, right. And so I'm doing whatever I need to do, to make that happen. Number 2, the second level is safety needs. So protection from the elements, security, order, law, stability, freedom from fear. Now, how interesting is that in light of some of the things that we've been talking about and seeing with regards to police brutality, with sexual assault, and so in a lot of ways, are our safety needs being fulfilled? If not, we're living in survival mode. We're struggling. Love and belonging needs, which includes friendship, intimacy, trust and acceptance, receiving and giving affection. Esteem needs, having achievement, accomplishments, mastery, independence, self-respect and respect from others. Number 5 is self-actualization needs, realizing personal potential. So now you have some sense of self-fulfillment, seeking personal growth. And then the final one, which was added in 1970, this theory started in 43, is transcendence. That's the point at which you're helping others achieve self-actualization. So transcendence happens when all of your needs are fulfilled, or for the most part, and you're able then to help others get to that place. So are we near a break?
A beautiful thing.
Okay, so after the break, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how this applies to the strong black woman phenomenon. Stay with us.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Green light. Hey girl. School zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change, called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
So what you and I have got to do is get involved. You and I have to be right there breathing down their throat. Every time they look over their shoulder, we want them to see us.
Hey y'all, this is Erica Gray. Exercise your right to vote.
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 This is Leah. Y'all already know to go out there and exercise your right to vote. So go ahead and get out and vote.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we are talking about the strong black woman phenomenon. And I just gave the Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory to you all, and I just want to talk about how that applies to the strong black woman. And there's basically there's 7 levels. I don't know why. I must have numbered it wrong here. So we have our basic psychological needs, our safe, and that's the lowest, safety needs, love and belongingness, esteem, self-actualization, and transcendence. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Right. Well, here you go, psychology, right? He's so funny, going to turn to me. I mean, if you don't have those first level needs satisfied, everything else is going to be thrown off all the time. I mean, if you don't have clothing, water, food, and shelter.
And sex.
I mean, we need sex, right? Other things are going to be off. And so when it comes to like that strong black woman, like when you're in survival mode, that your brain is in overdrive. And that's why people oftentimes feel stressed, look stressed, because you're not balanced, because you're trying to make sure the kids ate. The kids are, and then who are you neglecting in the process? Mm-hmm. You neglect yourself, because how many single parents or even parents that are, let's talk about those married couples that are single, because they are out there.
Right.
You're working overdrive and doing everything in overdrive to take care of everybody else, and you yourself are falling by the wayside.
Right.
You're not taking care of yourself. You haven't eaten all day. You probably haven't even gone to the restroom, because you're making sure everybody else is doing what they need to do.
You haven't had sex.
And you have not had sex. Sex.
So much sex.
Balance challenge.
You need sex, people. Yeah. If you're not having sex.
It's a basic need. It's in the theory
It's
here.
in the theory. Maslow is a good psychologist.
Yes.
He's got a lot of research out there. He says that you need sex.
Yes.
It says it.
I
just read it.
But there are black women out there who are lacking in a lot of these areas. They aren't taking care of themselves. Safety needs, maybe not feeling safe, and and so, but we know how to fake it so well. We know how to act like everything's okay.
We're the master mask.
Yes.
Mask people.
Yes.
We mask very well with the lip gloss, the hair, the contour, and then on the inside we're breaking apart.
Right. And one way to gauge it, if you want to apply this theory to your life, look at these things and determine, are my needs getting met?
Right.
Because maybe that might explain why I'm falling apart in this area or this area, maybe why I may be in survival mode and not even realize it.
Right.
Recently, so I've been working on my book, and I have this section about self-love. Mm-hmm. And right off the bat, I was like, I have never had issues with self-love. I love me. I love me some me, some me, some me.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote this probably about that part, maybe, 8 months ago. And so I came back, I'm editing, reading. I'm like, that's a bunch of crap. That's some BS. I've always loved myself. And we all go through periods where we struggle or where we lack.
You're not loving yourself the best.
Right. And so self-love is so multidimensional. There's so many different levels to it. It's not just straight up self-love. So, I had a friend text me the other day and said, can you look at yourself in the mirror and fully, naked and just fully love yourself? And I said, yeah. That's not the problem, and so we all have different areas in which we struggle with the self-love, and so for her, that might be her thing. For me, I shot back to her and said, what I'm finding is my self-love struggles within the context of a relationship.
Yeah.
That's where I need to make sure that I'm on point, because I can find myself getting drowned in that or
losing yourself,
losing my sense of identity within that relationship. And so, I could look at myself in the mirror all day long and be like, I love me, I love me, I love me.
Yeah.
And that's why in the book I wrote, I love me some me, some me, some me, some me.
Yeah.
But then when you look at all of your relationships and you see a pattern, then you realize, okay, so there had to be some self-love lacking somewhere if I've got the same patterns happening over and over and over
again. And you've also got to be okay with losing people who don't give you the space to love yourself.
Right.
Nowadays people, oh God, they want so much. I find myself, I'm always attracting needy people, needy guys. And I remember this one guy, he wanted to FaceTime every night. And I'm sorry, I can't FaceTime you every night. I'm a single parent. And sometimes I just want to talk to you on the phone. And I don't have to sit up straight and look cute. So I fell asleep. And he was like, you don't like me. And he went to the extreme.
Oh,
I'm
God,
like,
that's
dude,
exhausting.
it's not all about that. I need sleep, dude. I need 8 hours of sleep. I don't know what woman you're meeting that's sitting up with you at 3 o'clock in the morning like we're in college.
20-year-old?
A 20-year-old. I'm almost 40, dude.
Or either unemployed.
Or either unemployed. I got a job, so I got to get my rest. So I love myself enough to say, you know what, if you're not the man for me and you're not going to let me get my 8 hours, then you got to go.
You got to charge them to the game.
Means you might not get no sex, but you got to go. You know?
But there are ways.
All right. Oh,
There are ways.
next show.
Are you chiming in? I know we took it over, so.
I mean, I'm not a woman, but you know, I guess I could see where, you know, the thing I would see in this part would be like, you know, like if you're in a relationship and then you're give,
Mm-hmm.
and then someone is take, and then you end up breaking it off. Then the next go around when you meet the next person, now you're gonna be more of a taker than a giver, and then that's gonna wreck that one. And you know, you're on this up and down thing. So I mean.
Well, and that's another good context for this hierarchy of needs thing, within the context of a relationship. So look at your relationships even and say, okay, well, within my relationships, are these needs being fulfilled? Am I feeling that I have my basic needs met, that I'm safe, that I'm feeling loved, that I'm able to have some sense of esteem, you know, that I can have that independence and, you know, self-actualization? Is this fulfilling? And then the transcendence within the context of this relationship. Can I, you know, transfer what I'm experiencing to other people?
Right.
You know, and so check out Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It has a lot of.
I have it in my office on my wall.
Check it out. So, but I'm going to issue you all this week's balance challenge.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
Okay, so this week's balance challenge is about finding your peace. So if you are a woman, a black woman in particular, I mean, you know, white women, you can find your peace too. but if you're a black woman, or one of them strong black women, you know, that whole idea, I want you to relax and find your peace. And if you are somebody who loves a strong black woman, this is where white women could come in. A black man, whoever, if you know somebody in your life who is a strong black woman, help her find her peace. Help her find her peace. What was that?
Somebody said that's right.
Yeah. So yes, find your peace. That is the challenge for this week. I am seeing some lively conversation happening over here on Facebook. Yeah, I have to recap on what's going on over here, but it looks like we're having some deep conversation.
Oh, what's going on?
About religion and Christ and so let's keep our conversations on topic. Okay. On topic. So and for those of you who are just joining us, if you don't know what the topic is, we are talking about the redefining strong, dissecting the strong black woman phenomenon. I'm seeing stuff about devil worshiping and heaven and God's son and dude, you know, I think you need to relax and chill out a little bit over there.
Shout out to
you
God,
know,
sir. You are hilarious.
Yes,
Whoa.
Let's stay on topic. So, one of the next things that I wanted to get into is raising kids. So, black women raising black sons, black women raising black daughters. So first, we can look at the black sons. What gifts can we pass to our black sons, and what can't we teach our sons?
You got boys.
The main thing that I tried to teach, and I try to teach, you know, to this day, even though both of them are 18 and 20, I try to influence them to be independent. I try to influence them to, you know, figure things out on their own. I want them to think outside of the box because, you know, this, you know, the system isn't for them, if you let me tell it. And I will always tell them that, but I will prepare them to work inside of the system, you know, but I want them to be able to create on their own because, I mean, it's very tough out here. And then, like you guys say, sometimes you have to, you know, like hide a little bit, you know, inside, or, you know, you have to kind of do a tap dance and stuff. And that was like one of the main reasons that I left the big company that I was working for, and like everybody was telling me, like, hey, you got a good job, you ought to stay there and blah blah blah. But I had gotten into it with some guys up in South Carolina, and it was over something trivial, and then like the VP called me, and it was a black guy, and he was like, well, you just got to learn to play the game, and I'm like,
yeah.
What are you talking about? Like, I'm better than all of these people. Why do I have to play anything? I didn't even do nothing. I'm not about to tap dance for you or anybody else.
Yeah, right.
So I ended up getting, they didn't let me go. They just sent me somewhere else, sent me back to Atlanta. But it's like, you have to be able to stand firm because, it's no telling how long he's been playing the game. He's an older guy. So, I don't, I want black men to be able to be black men or to be men.
Right. Well, and what can we do as women to impart those kinds of messages and lessons? We'll have to talk about this when we get back. But that's really important.
Yeah,
and we need to know as women. What can we do?
Yeah, what can we do to help y'all?
All right, we'll be right back.
Sensation Station Network. Radio, not dumbed down.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
What's up, sis?
Nothing. Just sitting here reading about HIV in Atlanta and its surrounding areas. Did you know we're number 8 in the nation?
I know.
You need to get tested.
Nah, I don't get down like that. I'm good.
But you are a ladies' man. You don't know who they're with when they're not with you.
If I need to get tested, so do you.
No, I don't. I'm married.
True, but you don't know who he's with when he's not with you.
Oh, you got jokes. He's not like that.
Fact is, no one really knows what their partner is doing or who their partner is with when they're away.
Well, I'll get tested if you get tested.
Cool. Where can we go?
This article I'm reading says the Lifeline Project of CSB does free HIV testing. Let's go there.
Lifeline Project, here we come.
The Lifeline Project is a SAMHSA grant. For more information on free testing, please call 770-499-2422 or visit us on the web at www.cobcsb.com.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man!
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
And so a new American industry has been born. Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we are talking about the strong black woman phenomenon. And right before we went to the break, we were talking about what black women can...
He can do no wrong. Like, they'll go up to the school, and then, you might say, look, he's been doing this, and then back in the day when, the teachers and the parents stood on the same side pointing the finger at the child, now, the parent is over on the side with the kid
Yeah.
pointing at the teacher. So I mean, like we have to hold them accountable, and but without you being a man, I guess it's tough because you're not a man.
And see what happens too. I'm gonna piggyback on that is when the mothers turn the sons into son husbands.
See, I didn't want to say that.
I'm going to say it. And then they get into relationships when they get older as women, and then the mom want to get mad at the wife because now you're like a new wife. I mean, because they've been the wife forever. And then I have a couple of friends that have been going through that a lot. And the mom is like, but what about me? But the Bible says leave and cleave. But no, he's supposed to be with me because he's been my son husband since the daddy left.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I have a son who's 20, and I just don't understand. I've always been mama, like a mom. We're not buddies, we're not friends. Now he's in college. Conversations are totally different.
Right.
But mom husbands, or what did you say?
Son husbands.
I don't get it.
But see, you'll find like with people like you who have multiple things going on, like you just by virtue of being busy, you won't develop that relationship where you Netflixing and chilling with your son.
Right.
But see,
watching Lifetime together.
Exactly. So the list that she has to do, because she might not have a man, she might just work a straight 9 to 5, and she has this other free time. And like you said, if she's not able to, have a man in her life, then she ends up spending that time with him.
It does, and it's cute for us to say date night with our kid, but sometimes I see people post on Facebook they're with their sons, they having date night. Too much of that. Just say y'all going out. You don't need to be dating your son, okay? Because see, then somewhere in there you're seeing him as something, and I don't know what that is. And it can be something very innocent and nice, but it can go too far. So when that that little boy grows up to get in a real relationship with a real woman, not his mama, then don't get mad when he wants to really truly get in a normal relationship. Because at this point, y'all doing something that's real crazy. You should have your own life.
Foreign to me. I
have 3 friends that are dealing with that mother-in-law that was a single mom raising a boy, and now he's married, and it causes a lot of strife and craziness.
Wow.
I mean, I had a distant cousin that, like, his mother, like, this from way back in the day, so I'm not talking about any of you people that are in my age range in my family. But, like, she used to, like, really get involved in him. Well, I don't like her, and like really blocked it, and it was just like the craziest thing. And I was like, 8, 9 years old. I was like, that is insane. Like my mother was telling me one time, well, I don't think you should date her. I'm like, I don't care what you think. And then but my mom and dad was at the house and stuff, and like even with with my kids, if they date somebody who I don't necessarily like, I mean, I'm not gonna stand in, because sometimes you'll bring them closer together, or you'll drive them further away. So I mean, you have to find that balance. And with me being a man and raising men, hey, get away from me. Like we go to the movies every weekend.
But you don't call it date night.
Oh, no.
You ain't calling it date night.
No,
well, and Caleb,
we need to start a blog. Critics. But no. But what I'm saying is no. Like
you should start a blog. Actually, that'd be.
Like we don't. But I completely get what she says because they don't have anything to do. So they're like, it's not like they're actually banging their kids, but they just, they're doing stuff. They're always together. Oh, he'll always be my king. And stop calling your son king. Not a king. Stop.
People do that?
Stop.
I don't know where I've been. Caleb Williams is saying date night with your son. Nah, bruh.
There you go, Caleb.
But there's a double standard because we always, have the father. I'm gonna teach my daughter how to date. I'm gonna, that's always cute. So what's the difference?
Well, it's cute, but at some point, you gotta, you psychologically, you don't want to see them as an actual date. It should be a teaching process in there, and it should be not as frequent. You can't take your little boy or your little girl on a date night every week. I mean, where's your date? Where's your true, honest date as an adult? And if you don't have one, then maybe you need to get in some other programs to get you one. But yeah.
But that also leads back to like how we were saying, black women are either not getting married or they're getting married later, or if at all. So, if they don't have that masculine energy in their life of a mate, I mean, and like
it transfers to the son.
Yeah, I mean,
I know, Pam. It seems weird. It has happened. It's sick. And if you don't think it's sick, I'm telling you, it's sick.
And like these mama's boys who my mama.
You don't make that spaghetti like my mama. Well, go with your mama.
Or you make it.
You make it
yourself. Wow, this is like wow to me. Okay. So my next question is, what can we not teach our sons as women? Are there limits? Are there things that we just can't teach them that we need to accept?
Stop teaching them that they're infallible. Like so many women, like they just will not just like the only time women draw down on boys, or a lot of times from what I've seen, the only time women draw down on boys and like really stick with it is when they've just really, really, really gone too far. And sometimes that's in a courtroom. Yeah. And like even in court, you know, you'll see them still don't make excuses for these boys. And like, you know, not to put it out there, but you know, I've seen family members who have, you know, they would just allow, and then until they were in trouble. And then, you know, sometimes it's too late. You know, you can, every day you drawing a breath, you know, that's an opportunity to change. But it's harder to change when you've been built up your whole life that, you know, no matter what you do, it's right.
And sometimes as single parents, you still have to discipline a child, even though you know, I think inside some single parents feel sorry, like, my child doesn't have two parents. I don't know what that mindset is.
I never had that.
Right. But what we do is we overcompensate. And you overcompensate in just trying to protect every little piece of their emotions and da-da-da. Then you got this grown man in your basement, or this grown woman who can't stand on her own because you coddled them so much because of the lack of the other parent not being there for whatever reason that is. And you have to check yourself with that, you know, as well.
That's interesting. One of the things when I got to a point where I felt like I wasn't being effective with my son, I was trying everything.
Yeah.
I sent him to military school. I mean, I did a lot of research.
That is expensive.
It is expensive. All get out.
Yeah.
Still owe them money. But what I loved about it, now I did a lot of research and looked at a lot of them, and the one that I chose had some very strong, positive black men who were role models, and they had that great balance of, believe it or not, they were Marines, but great balance of nurturing and hardcore accountability. And I felt like that was, I couldn't seem to get that in my home with it. I could not strike that balance of what they were able to do with him, you know, and that may be different in different households. I mean, I had other moms saying like, girl, you better take him by the neck and throw him on the ground, and you know, and that's just not my style of parenting.
Yeah, I could have told him that. It's not Pam.
Physically at a certain point, I mean, if he don't want to allow you to whoop him, you won't whip him. Because, I mean, he just physically, you know,
the physical part
13, 14, 15, 16, you know, you come home and you know, want to just, you know, swing on me. But if at that point, he has to allow you to whoop him.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and that's too much. I wasn't even trying to go there. Yeah, I was like, okay, military school. All right, so we're going to go to a break. And by the way, he's doing very well. If you're watching, I'm very proud of you. He's doing awesome now.
That's
he's in college.
Awesome.
Hallelujah, he's in college. All right.
So expensive.
It was.
I was going to send my son.
It was. All right, we'll be right back.
What's up, sis?
Nothing. Just sitting here reading about HIV in Atlanta and its surrounding areas. Did you know we're number 8 in the nation?
I know.
You need to get tested.
Nah, I don't get down like that. I'm good.
But you are a ladies' man. You don't know who they're with when they're not with you.
If I need to get tested, so do you.
No, I don't. I'm married.
True, but you don't know who he's with when he's not with you.
Oh, you got jokes. He's not like that.
Fact is, no one really knows what their partner is doing or who their partner is with when they're away.
Well, I'll get tested if you get tested.
Cool. Where can we go?
This article I'm reading says the Lifeline Project of CSB does free HIV testing. Let's go there.
Lifeline Project, here we come.
The Lifeline Project is a SAMHSA grant. For more information on free testing, please call 770-499-2422 or visit us on the web at www.cobcsb.com.
This is what legends are made of. This is what legends are made of.
As long as I see that fire in your eyes, I know we still good.
I do it off of that love.
We built this family, and this family's strong.
Empire on Fox.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela. And my gosh, we only have like 4 minutes left. We have talked and talked and talked, and there's so much more I wanted to cover. What I will say is that there was a situation on Delta Airlines in which a woman, Tamika Cross, it's going viral right now, and she said, you're not his... in on this.
Thank you.
Yeah, you are not his mother and father. You are a single mother doing her best, and that is so true.
That's
and
so true.
Important to remember. We might have to do a show just on that alone.
Yeah.
I was a single father of 4 at one time. As a man, I knew that one couldn't teach my daughter how to be a woman. I put positive women in her life to help me in that journey. That's the saying about the village is true. Bruh, people, Caleb is just going on it. He's on one. Bruh, people are entitled to believe what they want to believe. Stop trying to force your beliefs on people if you believe in Christ. Oh, he's talking about the other dude. Oh, yeah. You're right.
God, shun.
So, any final thoughts? You guys got like 20 seconds. 10 seconds.
I had a great time.
Each.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, our final thoughts, I think we should come back and do a part 2.
Yes.
But I did want to talk a little bit about, just for a second, about what we can impart in our daughters.
Yes.
And for our daughters to just learn how to love themselves and take care of themselves in this environment, and to make, for me, I want my daughter to feel safe with God, and that's her safety. Don't look for other people to make you feel safe.
Right.
Find that in him first. But I want my child, to grow up and find a great man. You know what I'm saying? I don't want her to be searching and seeking for a long time. I think our generation, we were taught to go to school, be great, be these things, and then the men weren't taught the same thing if they were coddled and whatever. And so now we are at this kind of discrepancy.
Yeah.
But we still got hope, Pam. And to that girl who was talking earlier, we're right there with you, but I'm definitely believing that I'm going to get married. I haven't given up.
J. Marie, I think it was.
Hey, J. Marie.
Yes,
Girl,
J.
he's
Marie
out
is
there.
saying definitely a part 2. Thanks for an awesome show is what she's saying.
Aww.
So how do you relinquish control and learn to flow and learn to love your life and find peace? So this is this is come from my blog post, which I will add to this thread here. Of course, we all want what we want. I know I want what I want. I'm hard-headed. But when it comes to love, the best way to get what we want is to sometimes just slow down, listen, and surrender yourself to the flow. And that's hard sometimes for a strong black woman.
Mm-hmm.
Your instincts will take care of the rest. And if you have an amazing black man in your life, or just amazing man in your life, he can help you do the rest as well.
Yeah.
If you're paying attention, you'll know which way to flow, even if that means flowing away from some situations. Mm-hmm. So, with that said, thank you for tuning into the Live Exchange. We are where we exchange compelling dialogue around love, politics, and intellect. Join us next Thursday from 11 to 1 right here on the Sensation Station. We'll be talking about facing your truth and walking an authentic walk with author T. Renee Smith. I'm Dr. Pamela, and remember, it's your life. Love it.
Bye.
Bye.
Letting the rhythm move you and groove you.
Get in the groove now.
More music now on It's Sensation Station Network.